All right, we are back. I don't know how long. I don't know how long we're going to be back, but we are back. And it is a beautiful fucking day out here in New York City. Funny fucking story. No, it's not really funny, but peculiar. A peculiar story. So, um, you guys probably saw that I was out here streaming, and the stream kind of got sidetracked. It was a cool dude that was just kind of admiring the car because this car is definitely something to admire. It is a work of art as far as craftsmanship is concerned, right? Oh wait, I forgot to take the. Forgot to cut off the Bluetooth again. Oh, I did turn off the Bluetooth. Okay. So anyway, uh, there was the you might have heard me talking to somebody that was off camera. When I finally got off, the stream, I'm talking to him. Cool dude. You can tell that he's lived some life. You know, he's seen some things, experienced some things. And I decide, hey, I'm going to sit down and have a talk with him. And the dude is cool. He's a cool guy. You tell he's lived some life. Um, so there was like an area eatery. He didn't really want to eat or whatever. So we just sat there kind of talking to shit while, we sat here talking, just, we sat here, just kind of talking. And, we leave leave the place, we say our goodbyes or whatever. And we look across the intersection and it looks like somebody on a bicycle was hit by a car. That's what it looked like. So, like, wondering if, like, you know, I see all these cars moving around this person that's laying in the street. And, I'm just kind of wondering, like, what the fuck is going on here? And I really wish these fucking cars would move. Um, and I'm looking around. I'm like, all these cars are moving, but this man is laying in the middle of the street. Do we have, a car leaving the scene, leaving the scene of an accident, And I'm thinking maybe, and it's definitely not a typical day traditionalist. It's not. Um, and, I'm looking and, this guy looks like he's trying to impede the progress of a gold colored Mercedes-Benz sedan, I think like an E-Class. And, I'm wondering, like, is that the car that hit the guy? But the car is so far away from where the guy was hit, it didn't make sense that it was him that hit him. And, like, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. But then I look at the guy, And I realized that he's bugging the fuck out. Like, he's completely bugged the fuck out. Like, he's like running in the street and he's doing like these weird dances. He accosts this old man who was waiting for the bus, an old man with a cane. He accosts this man, and I'm like, this nigga's really bugging the fuck out. Like, he's really lost his marbles. And, you know, he's at the bus stop, and, you know, he's, you know, yanking on the bus. He yanked the panel open on the back of the bus. And then he pretended like he was screaming into this open back panel in the bus. And he does this weird, like, dance. I'm like, this dude is bugging the fuck out. Ambulances show up to attend to the guy laying in the middle of the street. The cops show up and they zero in right on him. And then somebody says, oh, that guy wasn't hit by a car. That crazy guy that's, like, you know, going off on everybody, he tackled the guy as he was riding by on his bike. He tackles him off the bike, rips the bike from underneath him, and then beats him with the bike. And left him right there in the middle of the street for no reason. I mean, yo, that's really not what I was expecting. That's just I don't know about you, but it's just not what I was expecting at all. Just not at all. Definitely not typical. Most of the people here in New York City, we mind our fucking business, you know? You know, we live our life, we try to get our money, we try to survive, not get pushed in front of the subway train, you know. But this dude was bugging the fuck out. That motherfucker was on drugs. When they talk to you about DARE programs and, you know, don't do drugs and all that stuff, you know, they're talking about that. That's what they're talking about. So I looked at it and I was just like, yo, this is too strange for me. I'm going home and taking a nap. And you know what I did when I went home? I took that motherfucking nap. Obviously, what I saw. Do I like the BMW i8? That is a great question. Let's get the demerits out of the way. The BMW i8 is not as sporty and as fast as its looks would suggest. Okay? Let's get that out of the way. However, I love that car. The looks of that car is just, I just love it. And the thing is that, you know, they didn't make the car for it to cost $350,000, but it looks like it costs $350,000. It's a beautiful car. It is inventive. They did a lot of really cool, inventive things on it that I thought were original. It's just not nearly as fast or as exciting to drive as reviewers would tell you, as they try to make it out to be with the appearance of the vehicle. But I truly do love the i8, and I do believe that, you know, even though they canceled the vehicle, they're probably going to come out with something very similar to that at some point, and it's going to be cool. It's going to have a better all-electric engine in it. You know, the next version of the i8 is going to be everything that everybody wants from it. I really wish this guy would get out of the lane. This motherfucker just wants attention. This motherfucker is on a scooter, riding in the middle of the lane instead of on the side. and just like, just chilling, and he's holding up traffic. People like that are a little bit more common than what I saw earlier today, let me tell you. Yo, what up, F1 McLaren? A special welcome to my guy Ryan Bedell. Everybody, be cool to Ryan. Ryan's a good man. We got a word for it, but can't find the translations. Is lenticolder. It is the crazy behavior animals and humans show when spring is starting, or more accurately, in this case, when motherfuckers are smoking crack and smoking K2 in the springtime. Yeah. To the Queensboro Bridge we go. There's a really cool tram that goes to Roosevelt Island. If you guys ever come to New York City, it's like 59th Street, 58th, 59th Street. They have like this little tram thing. I've only been on it once in my life, but let me tell you, it is definitely worth the experience. It is just really cool. If you get a chance to get on that tram thing, I think you get on it at like 59th Street and 2nd Avenue or something like that. It's really, really cool. Obviously, I'm on a bridge, so I can't look at comments right now, but when there is a break in the driving action, I really love the sounds that this car makes. A lot of reviewers didn't like how the car sounds in Sport Plus. Sport Plus mode, they didn't really like it. They felt like that, the burbles and stuff was a little bit gratuitous. It might be, but for some of us, it's cool, it's exciting. And if you don't want to hear those sounds, you can just put it in Eco Pro or Comfort mode, and it's all good. But I like hearing the exhaust. But I think that guys that drive supercars, all different types of supercars for a living, they probably might look at this BMW and say, "Oh, you're trying to do too much for the size of your vehicle and the price point." And I can't really be critical of how they see the vehicle on that end. But as a layperson who's never had a sports car before, I've only had a driver's license for like 6 years. I'm just going to enjoy what I have. And sometimes I feel like being obnoxious. If you don't like it, you know what you can do. Nothing. When it downshifts and it gives you that extra burble, I like that shit. This is definitely not my favorite weather. My favorite weather is, 90 degrees. It's 64 right now. It's not as warm as I'd like it to be. But, I like it. It's a little cold right now. I probably should have put on my Probably should have put on my hoodie, but I thought it was going to feel better than this. Yes, Ryan, it does go to Roosevelt Island. Yes, traditionalist, except that a lot of people prefer the driving dynamics of the Miata better than four. You know, the quality of this vehicle is better. The interior is better. The car is more powerful. It's faster. But people like the handling on the Miata. They feel like the Miata may not be as fast, it's not as powerful, but they really do enjoy the driving dynamics. You know, this car has much heavier handling as far as like the steering wheel. The steering is heavier than my Mercedes-Benz SUV, and that's one of the reasons why this has now become my daily driver. But I'm so proud of my first wife. She drove. My first lady drove the Benz this morning to the university that she works remotely at, and this was her first time driving there. And you know, she's driving alone. The second lady was not with her, so she's in the car by herself, going to a place she's never driven to before, and she made it. Very very proud of her. Very very proud of her because you know when we had the gray BMW X5, she got into a collision with somebody who did not want to let her merge in traffic. She was already afraid to drive the car because it was a $63,000 vehicle, and she was already scared to drive it. Like that was her first car, you know. If it's mine, it's hers, right? Um, you know, she didn't. After that, she kind of froze up and just didn't drive anymore unless the car was cheap, you know. Um, so, oh, you guys are talking F1 over here. I see you. Um, it's 61 in Queens right now. I wish it was 71, but beggars can't be choosers on a top down day. I'll take the 61. I'll take the 61. Let's go. Like, why is this light still red? God damn. Doesn't make no sense. Even though it's a little cold for my liking, I really am enjoying myself. Right now, I'm headed to a GNC that has a parking lot so I can get some RTD protein shakes so I can add to my forthcoming gains. Traffic is flowing a little bit, so again, I'll hit the comments when I hit them. But you know, I had an interesting back and forth with a respectable young man And the conversation that I had, it reminded me of a lot of the conversations I have with other men that I used to be in debates with, when I would try to prove that, you know, you know, women are the angelic, righteous creatures, and us men, we have to work super, super, super hard to try to counter our evil nature. And you know, I just I don't want to drive underneath there. That fucking traffic is horrible there. I don't understand why they keep wanting me to take that road. That road sucks. And I don't like driving underneath the subway. That shit makes me nervous. I think I'll stay here until, oh, did somebody just get caught by the speed camera? I think, yep. Somebody got caught by the speed camera. God damn it. Well, you're going to have to eat that $50. I think speed cameras. Another one got caught. Yo, they got speed cameras like yo, there's two speed cameras back to back. That's insane. Black Pain, what's up, man? What are some ways you think we could reduce this traffic in New York, man? It's frustrating wasting minutes of your life stuck in this ish. When you have 8 million people stuffed on a plot of land the size of a postage stamp, there's really no way that you can really get away from it. There's just no way. So my suggestion is that we all learn to have a little bit of fucking patience, and we share the road with each other. And not only will that relieve a lot of the congestion, but our perception of traffic would be different. If we changed our mindset about where we're going, you plot where you're going to go first, you temper your expectation about how fast you're going to get there, then a lot of the frustrations can be a lot of the frustrations can be addressed that way. But I think that it has more to do with our expectations than the actual experience. To be honest with you, where do I stand religiously? Now, Ryan wrote a book on his journey to atheism. My journey isn't that different from Ryan's as far as my opinions of religion. I grew up in a hyper-religious environment. My mother grew up in a hyper-religious environment. And she grew up under a religion that was different than the one that I grew up under. But the abuse was still the same. I mean, not exactly the same, but the extreme levels of abuse still the same. So, the more that I got a chance to see what religious life is like, the more I started to understand that religion serves purposes, and those purposes they serve those purposes to different people. And for some people, religion serves the purpose of giving someone a moral compass to guide them. And that morality is arbitrary. For some people, religion is a means to control the thoughts, feelings, behaviors, and wallets of others. So I have grown to have a deep distrust and distaste for religion in general, because when you think about religion as a concept, um, religion seeks to control you in a way that you would not ordinarily allow reasonably. I don't think that people who are reasonable would accept the kind of control that they accept from religion. They wouldn't accept it in any other circumstance. And so the final straw for me was when I saw this coded language being used by all of the religions against all of the other religions. All of the religions say, my religion is the truth. And those religions, they worship a false god, or they worship the right God, but they don't do it the right way. And I grew up underneath that. And I had some pretty hardline stances. I mean, I thought I knew it all because this religion said, blase, blase, blah. And, I lived a little bit of life, and I grew to understand that it is not reality is much, much different than how religious people frame it. But when Ryan asked me about my stance on religion, he's talking about the socially accepted religious denominations. I'm going to take this a step further, though. Okay? I'm going to take this a step further. I believe that we've created we've filled the void. There's a void of wanting to believe in something and to join a cause that is bigger than oneself. We've replaced traditional religion with feminism. We've replaced traditional religion with atheism. We've replaced traditional religion with veganism. And what it tells me is that the desire to control the thoughts, feelings, behaviors, and economic decisions of others is not limited to just the God that you think you serve. I think that it is something that is inherent. It is a disease that is just part of the human condition, where we have this need to control what other people think and feel. We have this desire, this burning desire to control how other people perceive reality. And honestly, it's quite distressing to me. And I kind of agree with traditionalists here. I think that the the intentions of religion, of all religions except for Scientology, more on Scientology in a minute, the intention of religion is to be noble, is to do the right thing and be ethical. That's the intention. But you know There's a saying that absolute power corrupts absolutely, and I don't believe that. I believe that the corrupt are drawn to power, and those that seek to control to control the thoughts, feelings, perceptions, wallets of other people. These are people who are out of control. These are corrupt people. So I look at religious leaders much like I look at politicians. And I hope that makes sense to many of you. One of the true banes of my existence are cars that drive, are cars that double park on one lane roads. Hate it. Hate it. I realize I don't have to drive up this way. I can continue to go. What direction am I going in? I don't know. East of where I'm at. Yeah, uh, yeah, no, Captain, what's up? Um, yeah, so for me, when you're talking about, who is timed out? Yo, no timing out McLaren. McLaren's my boy. No timing him out. Maybe McLaren put a link in or something. No timing out my boy McLaren, please. Um, Captain Paul's sitting backstage like a VIP. um, but you know, when it comes to my belief in God, right? That is a much more tricky thing. That is a much more difficult. Um, I love it when a dude in an M3 is staring at me. I love it. I love it because you wish that you knew this car existed because you would have got this instead of that M3 or the M4. I think it's the M4. He would have gotten this instead of the M4 if he knew about it. When M3, M4, and M5 drivers are jealous of you, you made the right pick. Bitches. But you know, back to the topic. Belief in God is really, really much more tricky because, you know, the thing is I can't just call up God and say, "Hey, do you exist?" Right? I can't I can't I can't I can't, you know, log on. I can't like subscribe to God's YouTube channel and then, you know, hear him talk about himself, right? I can't do any of that, right? Um, so I'm relying on the testimony of other people for the most part. So, you know, that kind of makes it a little bit more tricky to answer a question that, um, by I mean, and if you look at the way that people talk about the when you look at um, um, you know, just how we perceive the concept of evidence, you know, the religious approach does not satisfy. You know, they tell you just have faith, but we don't really deal with anything in society except the word of women. Just have faith that she's telling the truth. We treat women that way, but really nothing else in society do we say, hey, just believe what I say because I said it, and believe that somebody that I say exists told me, right? But then on the flip side is what Captain Paul just said. I think God exists because nothing this great can be created by pure luck. And I believe that 100. You cannot, intelligence cannot be created from nothing. And when I was a kid and they used to try to teach the Big Bang, right? It didn't make sense to me because when I think of all of the destructive elements in the history of existence. None of them create anything. Destruction never creates anything. Destruction destroys, and that's it. It may create new opportunities, but it doesn't create anything substantial itself. So, with that in mind, it does not make sense to me that we have all of this and then we have, the expression of intelligence that we have as human beings, and then just say, oh, yeah, it was, pure luck, Big Bang. No, no, that don't make no goddamn sense. And if you look at all of the things that we have on this planet, all of it was created by somebody. So I don't, you have that whole chicken and the egg argument, and that's what makes it very tricky for me. So for me, I feel like the jury is still out. I think that there's still a lot. There's still a lot to uncover. I think that we understand almost nothing about the world around us, as as inhabitants of this planet, and and I think that we need to be asking more questions, and we need to stop making. We need to make less definitive statements and ask more questions. And we need to not be so arrogant. I mean, as a species, we're so fucking arrogant. People think that we created air conditioning. No, termites did. Termites created the concept of air conditioning. We didn't create the concept of flight or locomotion. Other animals did. We just put our spin on it, and we make it work for us. And we adapt those abilities to cover over our deficiencies as a species. We got a bigger brain, a more complex brain, and that's awesome. You know, but a lot. Uh, there's a scripture in the Bible that says that there is nothing new under the sun, and even an atheist can agree with that. There's nothing new under the sun. The only thing that is new is our burgeoning understanding of many, many topics. But I think that so many people speak with such authority when they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Yes, just because something does not make sense to you doesn't mean it's not factual. And I agree with that. And that is really that would be my retort to both people who are atheists and also people who are monotheists and polytheists. I would say that to everybody in pretty much every situation. Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean that it's not true. So for me, it does not make logical sense that an explosion would create life, because every explosion you've ever seen, ever witnessed, ever seen recorded in history, every single one of them destroyed, and not a single one of them created anything. Not a single one. So, just based on observable evidence, the Big Bang Theory just does not make sense to me. I mean, if you think that it makes sense to you, that's on you. But I've never seen an instance where destruction has created. I've Let me let this go by. Let this fire truck go by. I like how everybody honked at me when I'm letting the fire truck go by. Driving in New York City, y'all. They honked their horn and they could hear the fire truck going by. Oh my God, people are such fucking clowns. Oh, by the way, guys, I fixed that issue with how uncomfortable I was just now with how cold it is. I fixed the issue by putting on my heated seat. So the back half of my body is warm, the front half of my body is cold, and it all adds up to it just being just plain temperate. Yeah, McFatful. The first law of thermodynamics: energy in, energy out. So for me, intelligent design makes a lot of sense, but I also believe that certain tenets of evolution also make sense. But to have evolution, you need to have a starting point. And you cannot tell me that nothing, and then boom, and now we've got life. Nope, doesn't, nope, nope, not buying it. Nope, 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 nope. And another thing too, and I want to make this very clear, scientists have made it very, very clear. They do not call it they don't call it the Big Bang law. You know, they don't call it the law of evolution because scientists understand that the evidence is inconclusive. I think what annoys me about religious people is they try to make it as if, you know, their God, it's conclusive. You know, it's conclusive. You know, the jury has come back. God exists. And it's like, no, 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 just no. Doesn't work that way. Sorry. Ryan, thank you for hanging out with us today. Hopefully, we'll see you back at some point. Of course, on the Talking Shit podcast, you know there's a standing invitation for you to participate on our panels, right? You're always welcome to join our panels the way, Anna Rude and Lutch do. For those that don't know, Lutch is the creator of the I Didn't Read Your Book podcast. And you can check out Anna Rude Guard at the Dialectic with Anna Rude Guard. I think that's one of the things that makes it very difficult for me to really vibe with Anna Rude specifically, because I like Anna Rude tremendously. He's a really intelligent individual and he means well. But he is an example of somebody who has very little life experience that speaks in absolutes, very much the way I used to do. So I can only imagine how much I annoyed the shit out of people when I was 21 years old. Anna Rude speaks very definitively. He wrote a book on masculinity, and he only just became a legal adult 3 years ago. Like, I don't get how we should listen to your take on manhood when you just became a man. You just became a man, right? On the flip side of that is we can't ignore the words of young people because they have a lot of truth to tell as well. We can't just write them off. But the overall point that I'm making is that I always have a problem when people are not experts and they don't have definitive proof beyond the shadow of a reasonable doubt. And they talk like, if you listen to anybody else, you're a fool. Like, no, listening to you makes me feel like a fool. That being said, I have a tremendous amount of man-to-man respect for Anna Rude. It's just my interpretation of how people talk. You know, like, and then also you got to make sure that a person's actions match up with the way they talk. So where are you on F1? If you're asking me, I think that it's sad that they're considering removing the track at Monaco. And that's really my only opinion because I don't know shit about F1. I hope that a lot of the technology makes it into cars like this, like what Mercedes is doing with the what is it, the CL, the CLS, what is it, the 43? You know, their roadster. They're putting some of that F1 tech um, into their 4-cylinder vehicles. So I want to see more F1 technology. I want to see them in street legal vehicles. Other than that, I really don't. Um, I'm just not knowledgeable enough about F1. If I catch a F1 race on television, I will sit and watch it. I won't know who is driving. I won't know who's doing what, but I do pay attention when I do. Um, Blackpink says, "Yo, Doc, what do you think about biking in the city?" That's a really good question, Blackpink. How do I put this? I admire people who bike in the city, in New York City, because I think you really are taking your life in your own hands. Um, there are so many different things that are going on. It's very easy. It's very easy to get lost in the sauce. I do believe that biking in the city is cool. However, a lot of people blame drivers for adverse outcomes with bicyclists. But bicyclists very rarely follow the law, like this guy here driving against the flow of traffic. That is against the law and it is dangerous. It's not dangerous for me because I'm in the 3,400-pound vehicle. It's dangerous for them. So I believe that if everybody follows the motherfucking law, biking in the city is easy as a Sunday morning. But when people do not follow the law and they think that everything in life revolves around them, bad things happen. And that goes for everybody. What's going on here? Okay. All right, somebody's parking. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? No, that was not a Mustang you heard. That was a souped up Range Rover that accelerated because people were like in his way. So I do think that if everybody follows the rules of the road, you'll be just fine. But everybody must follow the rules of the road. Everybody must be unselfish and be willing to share the road. When I drive around bicyclists, I give them a lot of space. A lot of space. When I'm making a left or right hand turn in an intersection, I make sure I let all the pedestrians go first before I go anywhere, right? Because I want everybody to feel safe on the road around me, because I want to feel safe on the road around other people. But we live in a selfish world, so you see a lot of bad outcomes that are preventable. And it's not just biking in New York City; it's driving in the country. It's um, working out at the gym. It's looking out for your coworkers at work. It's companies looking out for consumers. It's everything. It's everything. Everything in the world. If people were just a little bit less selfish, just a little bit, because selfishness in and of itself is not a bad thing, but people overdo it with the selfishness too often. And if we were able to just kind of get that out, we'd be good, you know. You know. We got Clinks in the building. Jimmy Dean. Traditionalist NASCAR is popular because America. That's why. Sure, they're just making left-hand turns over and over and over and over and over and over and over. But people like it, you know. And sometimes the NASCAR technology comes to road vehicles as well. So it's all good. No, it's all good, man. It's all good. The only bad thing about this stream is that it's about to come to an end because I am down to 10% battery. So, it's getting a little nippy, and I want to be able to listen to music on the drive back. So, and I don't think I have a charging cable in here. They might have given me a charging cable, but it might be an Android one. Maybe I'll buy one when I get where I'm going. But I do know that Lewis Hamilton is a very, very popular driver. I do know that as much. That as well. But guys, definitely check out the Talking Shit podcast, please. We'd appreciate it. Wireless charging was omitted from this vehicle because of the part shortage. The part shortage made it where my touchscreen nav, it did not ship with touchscreen nav, and they canceled wireless charging in all 2022 models. The Bitly is around there. Let me put the Bitly on the screen. Maybe I don't think that that Clinks like really really looked at this, but the Bitly is there, so definitely use that. When I came out here, I came outside with 35% battery like a fucking doofus. When I took my nap, I left my phone on the bed instead of putting it on the charger. So, that was dumb. But I have USB-C charging here. So, yeah, it's capital sensitive. It is. But please, definitely stop by the Talking Shit podcast. We had a really, really great episode featuring Louis Rossman and Lutch of I Didn't Read Your Book podcast and Anirudh Garg. We had all of that, and it was really cool. It was really fucking cool. And I hope that we end up doing more things like this. But yeah, I could not take any more of the wind because the wind is swirling, and that wind was just beating me, and I just don't feel like being uncomfortable. But there will be a lot more top-down rides coming on this channel. Right now, I'm kind of stuck in traffic here, but I want to listen to some music and have enough battery to be able to do it. So I'm going to end the stream right here, but I really want to thank you guys for coming through and hanging out with your boy, Dr. Evil. You guys know that I will be doing a lot more driving. I'll probably do a driving live stream in lieu of Filthy Casual MMA Watch Party, because I may only be able to host half that show. I may only be able to do the main card because I had a social thing that I committed to, and I need to make good on that commitment. But again, much love to all of y'all. I really, really, really appreciate the support like you guys don't know. You guys make what I do relevant to me, even though I have less than 1,000 subscribers at this point. You guys make it worth it. So thank you so much for Ziltoid BB. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming through. But yeah, we will talk. We will definitely talk Xbox. But my phone is dying, so if I would appreciate a follow on Twitch as well. You know, um, I'll be doing a lot more streams like this. I will be doing more of this. Don't I have a co-host? Well, Mrs. Evil usually helps me co-host. The problem is that she's got a family coming over to the house, so I may only be able to cover the main card for tomorrow's event. When I come home, she's going to be in the living room with her mother and her grandmother and all this stuff, right? So we got a lot of social stuff. It's Saturday, it's the springtime, so we're going to do the very best that we can. Just stay tuned. We got a lot more coming. And again, thank you so much, everybody.